Brian Titanic! Britannic. Like I said, Thomas O'Brien, or Thomas O'Brien's father, or someone like that, contacted me and was talking to me about basically some of the details and stuff like that, and he wondered if it was okay if his son would take, if I would mind if his son took my name. I believe I forget exactly what the details were, but the Brian Titanic. Anyway, Thomas O'Brien was a good man, and became my I believe my number one, or one of my people, at the point in time where, I could be wrong about this, at the point in time when the Germans were locked up, or the Germans were taken away, or something like that. But the Germans were no longer in control of the LS, or Belfast Yard, basically, or something like that. I forget exactly what happened, but there were some problems, and the Irish would be taking, would be continuing on in the Germans' place, or something like that. I don't know exactly what the details were, but yes, and I said it was fine. It's fine. That's fine, because my name is Brian, and they wanted to make sure, he was not being an imposter of me, because like I said, he was not pretending to be the Brian. He was just Thomas O'Brien. And a good man, I believe. So anyway, but yes. Anyway, basically, like I said, I owned Lucifer White Star Lines, basically, or Lucifer Star Lines. I am Lucifer Starline. But my American name would be American Citizen Brian Briley, or Brian, or just Brian at first. So anyway, that's why it was Thomas O'Brien. Anyway, he was a good man. A very good man, and he should have probably had, I think, like all my heads, all my top people were well paid, and got houses of their own, and basically huge mansions and pretty good estates, as there was lots of money, lots of this, lots of that, and were my managers basically for many years, and very good managers. And then their sons and daughters, and sons and sons of, and like I said, there were many daughters that also knew of me as well. And they would all look to me as basically their benefactor, and their leader, and their lord. They were not thieves. They were workers that worked very hard for them at the yard, and were paid a nominal salary, but were allowed to live inside of mansions and huge houses, basically, but not rich themselves per se. Exactly. I mean, well off maybe. Yes, and also living inside of my buildings, or inside some of my buildings, I had lots of very nice buildings built for them. And in fact, like, whole towns were actually built with my money, basically. Whole cities, like I said, basically Brazil, all of Cuba, and Panama was built with my money, basically. And then later on, other places were built with my money, as people paid back into the service, or whatever. So anyway, yeah, it gets all complicated and confusing, basically. And pretty much is, yes. But always my ships had these gorgeous, beautiful panelings, and they'd be removed and all that other stuff. And sometimes we sold at auctions or whatever. And most people cherished my belongings, or cherished the stuff that came from my ships. I mean, we also built houses as well. Like we didn't just build ships. We built houses too. I forget exactly how it went. If it went ocean liners and then buildings, or if it was buildings and then ocean liners. I get the two confused, exactly, because I was doing one. I mean, I did trains as well, but then as we stepped up and got higher and higher production values, we were building, like I said, we built, I did trains and interiors of trains, my wood carvers, and like I said, I had thousands of wood carvers, like 5,000, 15,000 wood carvers or more. I had thousands of stone cutters working for me, and that's how we get all the buildings built as well, all the stone buildings built. There's thousands of stone buildings built that were built, and other people would build stone buildings like my buildings and stuff like that, as basically very strong, very good buildings that could withstand a hurricane, or even flooding, even a tidal wave almost. Like there are even accounts where we're probably, I don't know. I would think there would be accounts where my buildings could take tidal waves and all that other stuff, but they could withstand a lot of things. And people bought my buildings and would live in my buildings as basically the safest buildings of all, and basically it would take like a huge tidal wave to actually knock them down. And probably tidal waves did eventually wash over some of them, but I mean, and maybe the people did die, but the houses always usually lived on. Some of my older stuff have actually crumbled to dust, though, and that's why I started going. I actually originally was building with something else, but that's why I eventually changed to granite construction and or granite stone and basically marble construction and basically brick also as well, as basically my buildings always seem to crumble to dust, and I was kind of tired of them falling apart. Like I wanted to build something that would last. So anyway, yes. But yes, that's Lucifer Starline or Brian Britannic. So Titanic, Leviathan most. I mostly my main ships were like Lusitania, Leviathan, and there were quite a few L ships because my name was Lucifer. So Lucifer Starline. So yes. So if anyone was wondering, I mean, a lot of people would wonder why exactly was there a Lucifer, a White Star Line thing? What does it mean? And originally I was known as Star, and then I was known as Lucifer Star Line, basically, as it is my name, Lucifer Star. But to make matters easier, like I would say, I'd introduce myself or just be known as Ellis for LS, L and S, basically. Although most people pronounced it Ellis with an E. So, and I had E aircraft and designations, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, and basically was the builder of cars and trains and steam engines and low pressure steam and high pressure steam. Generally, I went with low pressure steam because it was more efficient. You didn't need as much coal to run a low pressure steam system. So a lot of places actually preferred low pressure steam to high pressure steam, because high pressure steam takes a lot of coal and lots of stuff, but low pressure steam you can burn just about anything, including wood, even garbage, to do a low pressure steam engine. So anyway, but yeah, it's also a lot of stars, spindly wheels, spiral wheels with curved spokes, stuff like that. There was a lot of that stuff going around, the spiral wheels, because that was one of my symbols and in production. And at one point in time, I had to choose a lot of buttons and pins and lots of other things to be chosen to be manufactured. And basically, it was the source of most manufacturing. Not just guns and ammo, but steamships, aircraft, and lots of things. And of course, I also designed and invented the SR-71 or the LSF Blackbird, and also the swept-wing fighters, B-52, B-1 bomber, as I designed some of the shapes. Also, the Volker's jets, too, were partly because of me and stuff like that. And there's lots of history and stuff. So, yeah, and technically I would be a very, 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 very rich person. And like I said, I would use all my countries to basically do all kinds of good things. And eventually I meandered my way up to actually purchasing or buying basically all of America. And like I said, there was Indians living here, so I worked out a deal with the Indians, and a very amicable deal, and they actually helped and had their own mining facilities and blah, blah, and I worked it out with them. And had them, and I didn't mind them living, in my communities and stuff like that. Like they were very good people. So, and did beliefs and seemed to do beliefs that were more what's called the only differences or only problems I ever had with the Indians is that they were sometimes a little bit tribalistic in that they mating habits, so, but that's of a personal nature and not really my deal. So yeah, but yes.